Okay, so now let's talk about how small groups fit into the big picture. We've already seen that our basic task is to help people bring God's truth into their everyday lives. Jesus told us to make disciples and teach them to obey everything He commanded us. So we saw in this sketch that the goal is to get God's truth from large group into everyday lives. But again, this is the difficult thing. See, there's a gap here. It's difficult for people to hear God's truth in about 30 to 60 minutes on one day and really follow through on it on the next days during the week. And see, that's where the small group fits in. The small group bridges the gap so that people can really learn God's truth and apply it and live it out in their everyday lives. See, the small group really is where people learn how to live out their faith. That's where people can process it together and ask questions and see it modeled. This is the relational environment where God's truth can really come alive for people. See, without healthy small groups, it's hard for people to really grow. Jesus Himself had a small group. He didn't just go teach in the masses. He spent most of His time with His 12 disciples. He wanted them to experience relationship with Him, and in that relationship to really learn God's truth. Look at what He said in John 15. He said, "I have loved you even as the Father has loved me. Remain in my love. When you obey my commandments, you remain in my love." See, there's this connection between God's truth and love or relationship. And Jesus modeled it right there with His disciples. He wanted us to know that the small group really is where people learn how to live out their faith. And that also means then that the small group leader is central to our mission. If we're really trying to help people pursue God, that small group leader is the key player in so many people's lives. That's why it's important for you to really finish this training and give it your best effort. Look at this sketch again. The small group bridges the gap from large group to everyday life, and that puts the small group leader right in the middle. If you accept the mission of leading a small group, you'll be a key player in so many people's lives to help them to pursue God. And that's how you and your small group fit into the big picture.